Weekend Live. See if we get anybody in here. Sunday. Daniel Adami, you are actually first this time. Good on you. Poor Daniel is sad because the Cowboys could not win yesterday. Kimasabi, what's up, man? I haven't seen you in a minute. How's that carnivore thing going on? TK, haven't seen you in a minute either since I'm not on Periscope anymore. Salty Pirate, Nocturnal One, Jason Perry, Light Bright. What's up, guys? We are. I have a few minutes. I got a friend of mine coming over. I found 2 boxes of old magazines, metal magazines and guitar magazines. And the guy I'm giving them to is kind of like, I don't know, he collects old school metal stuff. Some of these magazines date back to 2000. And I've reached a point in my old age that I just don't care about collecting anymore. I kept the magazines that the band was in or my different projects have been in, but that's about it. And I wanted to go live while I'm waiting on him, so this may not be a long live feed, number one. Number two, I don't really have a whole lot to talk about. I mean, something will always come up. But number 3, Harold likes to go live on Sunday evenings, and plus there's some football games I'm going to watch later. And plus I'll be helping the wife with some grocery shopping and all that stuff. Well, Daniel Adami, we'll talk football a second. I thought it was interesting how the Rams did their offense. That on the line play calling, that was messing with them. I thought that was a good strategy. Scott, SRO Logistics, Provost Motorsports, what's up? Guys, I'm going to push the channel here. Provost Motorsports has got a really good channel. He's doing the headband thing on his GoPro, and he will tell you like it is. YouTube killed the Periscope star. I'm telling you, man, it did. John Kamen, what's up? Lee Lost Cause, working on a Sunday heading to Chicago. I'll be working tomorrow. Oh, you might meet up with Pale Rider. Cool deal. Nothing witty. How's it going? So I'm just waiting for a friend of mine to show up, grab these magazines. I've decluttered my workspace here. It's not as pristine as Big Yeti's office space, but it is definitely more manageable. I don't know if you guys can see this or not. I got my printer down. There's my desk. I'm on my laptop, so I can't really show you that much, but it is a workable space. I got a computer here. My son built me this computer. He built it off of scraps. And I hardly use it because all my favorites and passwords and everything are in my laptop. And that doesn't have my video editing software that I like to use. So I'm barely on that thing. So a lot of my trucking numbers and all that stuff is on the laptop because I take the laptop with me. Clyde, what's up? Let's see. Yeah, the Rams play calling was good and did mess with their defense. Yep. It was funny. Me and my wife were having this conversation. We were watching that game last night, and she was rooting for the Cowboys, and I was kind of like, I was kind of indifferent to it all because I'm not a huge Cowboys fan, but we also look at the Rams as traitors because they left St. Louis. But, anybody who's ever been in St. Louis, I don't blame them. And that new stadium that Los Angeles is going to have is going to be awesome. But, so yeah, one of my goals, and let's talk about goals. There's been a lot of bad rap about New Year's resolutions, right? And so now we're calling them goals, right? And Dave Ramsey did a really good video. I posted on the community page about, okay, you can set goals, but how do you achieve those goals? And I thought it was a really good video because it's like you can't just sit there and say, I want to lose weight. You got to put in there, sub-context like, okay, This is how I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to try to get 10 pounds a month. 10 pounds a month, that's 120 pounds in a year. That's not too unrealistic, especially with what I've demonstrated. But I have my 2019 goals. On the first half, I've got my goal revenue per month, what that will amount per year, what that will amount at after carrier's cut, and what I need per day and per week. And two is to declutter and organize truck. That's going to be a work in progress. Fix and declutter and organize home work desk, which I did that this weekend. Organize and purge personal belongings. I have a lot of heavy metal paraphernalia that I just don't want anymore. And it's not that I'm losing my metalheadness, but I don't see the point of keeping 15 years of magazines if I'm not going to look at them, right? So the guy that I'm giving them to, he is like what we call a local curator. He could probably open a museum with the local and ancient stuff that he has. Let's see, one of the other ones, streamline all paperwork and tax stuff. Getting better at that. My first 2 years owner operator, I was that guy. Hold on a second, guys. I was that guy that had everything. Receipts everywhere. My first year, I literally put it all in a box and sent it to my account. They loved me for that. The second year, had it all nicely in a folder. Third year, then we started going digital. Give me a second, guys, here. Talks among yourself. Sorry about this. He's texting me, and I got to take care of this. Sorry about this, guys. All right. I like to set fun resolutions like find a new park to go camping at, much easier to keep. Nothing Woody brings up a good point. These are personal improvement goals, and New Year's resolutions are, and that's what our family has done. It's like, okay, we want to visit this many state parks, or we want to take a vacation somewhere this year, or, one of our resolutions is to get our son driving. Ooh, there's a scary one, right? Provost Motorsport says resolutions are for the week. Business plans and goals are the tools for successful people. Just saying. I agree with you, Provost. Resolutions, and Dave Ramsey touches on that. You could sit there and say, well, I want to lose weight this year. Well, I've done that. I've done those kind of resolutions. There was one time where I made a resolution, posted it on my desk here, and where I could read it every day, but then I had to move stuff around. It got tucked in, and then about a year or so ago, I pulled it out. It's like, holy crap. Wow, I didn't do any of that, So one of my things is I have a list, a daily checklist. Do this before distractions. And these are things that I do before I pick up Facebook, before I pick up Twitter or Instagram, or pick up my phone or YouTube, is when I park every day, I need to go through this stuff. And that will help me achieve these goals, right? Because, here's the thing, guys. If the rates bottom out if things become a struggle, if things become a challenge, the only thing that will help you is your mental perspective on all of it. If you don't if you don't have the right mental attitude about it, that struggle becomes harder. Salty Pirate did a very revealing video, okay? Where he wants to quit smoking, right? So he made all these Post-it notes and put them right above his head in his truck and tore up the pack of cigarettes on video, so he's got accountability. But he's using mental tricks, and they're designed to change your perception. They're designed to change your attitude about things. And so, for example, here's another thing. So I did a load out of Texas, the one I vlogged about. All miles, at the end of the day, it was 98 cents a mile. Oh my God, Steve, I can't believe you did that. What the hell, right? But then the next load paid two and change, right? A mile. Add up all the miles, guess what? Add up all the miles and revenue for both those loads, came out to my daily goal, and it was still profitable because now all miles, it was still at $2 a mile. See? So when you look at rates in dead-end areas, you have to keep that in mind. So you have to get that rate going in, right? If you can't get that good rate going in, then you don't do it. But you have to do something versus sitting for 3 days looking for something that's over $2 a mile. And the more mental clarity you have, the more you can make those kind of decisions. When I was at Landstar, I had no mental clarity at all. None. Nada. I had friends helping me. I had people change my perception on a few things, but I didn't have the right mental mindset to make it work. My weight loss has occurred because I changed my mental mindset. Yes, I changed what I ate. I changed my attitude, but I changed my attitude about food. You know, when you guys watched my Struggle is Real video, that was me just completely fed up, completely just, I'm done with this, right? I'm done feeling like crap. I'm done feeling tired. I'm done not having that mental clarity that I felt before when I did my juice fast. I am done. And you have to have that aha moment where you're just done with it, right? And once you change that perception, once you change that attitude, then everything just falls into line. Rates are bad. If you have the right attitude, you'll get through it. You know why? Because you planned right. You don't make decisions based off emotion. You're not taking it personally if a broker doesn't give you a good rate. You know, they're running a business just as much as you are. Okay, not saying be their friend, but I'm not saying you can't put the blame on all of them. All the blame on them, I guess. Salty Pirate's going to unsub. Am I the new trucking guru? Far from it, Horn Dog. Big Rooster, what's up? My New Year's resolution was not to disappoint myself with the New Year's resolution. Complete success. There you go, TK. Provost, definitely. If you just promise to do something without figuring out how, you're practically planning to fail. Right. And Nothing Witty Provost is always saying failing to plan is planning to fail. And that's what I used to do. I used to be really bad about that. Nothing Witty knows me personally. And that person knows that I have a tendency to do that, you know. And I've found my old list. You know, I write everything down, you know. And here's something else interesting. So my wife, she got me this, okay? This is a book. It's one of them blank journals, right? A diary, right? And I wrote in it, right? I was like, I'm going to start this year and write everything down, blah blah blah. I used to keep journals all the time. It was a good exercise that my English teacher in high school taught me, and it was an outlet. It was an event, and as a musician, it was a great tool for exercising creativity. And here's one: January 1st, 2013, 296 pounds. And then I just wrote about my thoughts that day, what I ate, just kind of like just general, like, how was your day? Dude, I was depressed. I was like, had a bad, I was Eeyore. I had a bad day. Oh, well, and that kind of thing. Because as you get older, your memory goes. So it's kind of neat to look at this and go, wow. And then on January 20th, I stopped writing it. So I'm starting a new page starting tonight. And at the end of every day, I will write in this journal about how my day went. I do that for my business. Why can't I do that for my personal? Here's my question. If you smoke pure tobacco with all the craziness, does it still cause cancer? I have no idea, Big Rooster. I have no idea. Because I think the chemicals are put into the tobacco itself. But, you know, emphysema and all kinds of crap. Yes, David is right. Now, is it less than a cigarette? I'll never know. Don't know, don't care. All I know is that smoking is bad for you, no matter what kind of smoking you're doing. So, but anyway, so I made a promise to myself that I would look at this every day. If I can look, guys, if I can look at this hours upon hours a day and lose productivity because I'm on Facebook. Now, granted, a lot of my Facebook stuff is business related because I'm looking at the rate pages, I'm looking at the business pages. However, there's a lot of crying going on right now. And so you've got these eternal arguments, don't haul cheap freight, don't do this, I'm parking my truck. This is BS. The government's out to get us. The brokers are out to get us. All this stuff. It's part of the industry. It's part of the business, right? And my daily checklist is to catch up my planner, make sure all my receipts are scanned in, make sure all my bank balances are good, do my DVR logbook sign in, of course, look at goal list and progress. In other words, take a look at this goal list every day so it's embedded in my head. And look at the load boards and kind of figure out what I'm doing there and catch up emails, catch up paperwork. And that is all. It sounds basic, but that is all stuff that it was challenge up until early last year. Global warmer, what's up? So that is what's on my thoughts today. I've spent all week. I've been off all week. Why were you off all week, Steve? Why? Why were you off all week? Are you lazy? No. I wanted to get all the year-end stuff taken care of. Still waiting on some forms from Snyder, and then we'll get the tax thing into motion. And I've got everything all gathered up. So that was one thing. Number two, truck wasn't done until late Monday afternoon. And I figured I'd wait till Wednesday or to leave out Thursday so I get all the stuff done. And then when I saw that the weather was going to go south, or not south literally, but it was going to turn for the worse, I thought, well, I'll just, I was going to leave out with something Friday, but that would have put me right in the middle of the storm that Salty Pirate, John, and a couple other people were stuck in there, St. Louis. So I'm glad I didn't take that load. The beauty of self-dispatch. And I didn't want to go south to, I bid on a Florida load, okay? Steve, why'd you do that? Gosh. Because, at some point you get sick of the weather, right? But that would have brought me through the thick of it on the south end of that storm where the ice was. And the way you get to Florida from Missouri is you take US 60 east. and that was not looking good. And they wouldn't come up on the rate. I could not get more than 250 a mile for that Florida load, so I turned it down. And they're like, "Well, the market rate is like $2 now for that load." I'm like, "Well, my market rate is 3." But then, if you watch Ike Stevens, you would have seen that he was talking about 80-cent mile freight coming out of there. I know Harold's been hanging out there, but he's got a couple of gem loads that really kind of offset the bad stuff. So I'm glad I didn't go that route. For one, for the rates, and number two, for the weather. Now, here's my philosophy when it comes to where you pick to go. I look at the states that have pretty even numbers as far as load ratio in and out, right? Some states, that shows consistency. Instead of getting 3 one way and 1 another, I'd rather get 250 each way. You know what I mean? So it's a challenge to find those lanes, and those are always changing. Like last month at this time, California had 1,000 or 1,500 going in, and 3,000 coming out. Now it's like 1,500 going in and like 400 coming out. Big change. That was all Christmas rate. Florida, same way. Florida, there's not much coming out. If you do intrastate in Florida, you're going north to south, and then you're having the deadhead back north. So you better be getting round trip miles on that, rates on that. Texas is a weird bag. Generally, rates are lower because there's more competition. A lot of trucks in Texas. You got to stay out of certain areas in Texas. But I know how to utilize the Texas market more than some other people. I don't touch Colorado, and I don't touch anything east of Pennsylvania. Are there still Ram fans in St. Louis? I don't know, global warmer. I doubt it. It's funny. If you rooted for the St. Louis Rams, you were considered what they call a trendy fan. Like fair-weathered fan is what they call them. And Los Angeles made them a better deal. So nothing waiting. That's funny. Nathan, what's up? But anyways, so I utilized my week, because what a lot of people don't realize is that when you're an owner operator, your home time still involves the business. You're still having to deal with all the paperwork. You're still having to deal with the truck maintenance. You're still having to deal with all that kind of stuff. So you have to account for that. So if you take 3 days off, one of those days is going to be spent on the computer, running your numbers, inputting your computer stuff if you're not using Trucking Office, making sure that the truck's got its maintenance that you need, stuff like that. And then you can work on, the yard and stuff like that. And Daniel Lane, my Volvo broke today. Oh, I'm sad to hear that, man. But the more on top of things you are, the better it'll help you up here. You can have a good cash flow, but if you don't have the right attitude, if you don't have the right planning, it doesn't do you any good. And you can live on a shoestring budget, and that makes it a little bit more critical that you stay on top of the business side. Because think about this. If you have a brick and mortar store, let's say I open the store, which I kind of want to do, a record store, right? Well, at the end of every day, I'm going to have to add up the numbers. I'm going to have to figure out my cost and what I sold, what my profits were, and then deposit that money in the bank. You don't just like lock the door and go home. You're always dealing with it. Well, trucking is no different. And my original goal was to have enough money stacked up to where January wasn't a stress. I could take care of my year-end stuff. not worry about the low rates because it happens every January. And, you know, and take quite a few days off in January to deal with all that stuff. Unfortunately, my truck repair kept me from doing that. And my mental attitude in November, still suffering from that. You know what I mean? Karate Trucker, what's up? So that's what's going on. I figured I'd do a quick weekend live. Um, there's a couple of good games on tonight. We'll watch them off and on while I'm still accomplishing things. And it's amazing the amount of crap that I have. And my trucks, I know a local carrier that's got this huge dumpster, right? And I've been very tempted to pull next to it and just start tossing all my stuff in there. So the next thing is to declutter the truck, because a cluttered truck can really get on your nerves, especially if you are out 10, 12, 15 days at a time. You want to be comfortable. I have a friend of mine that had a 660 with a, I think, 60-inch sleeper, and he could be one of those trucking organizer gurus. I told him, I said, man, people could probably pay you to help organize their truck. He utilized all the space in that truck, and he had more room in that truck than I do in my 680, because he had less stuff, but what he had, he was able to utilize every inch of space. Turntables are coming back. You're right, Johnny Sacco. I have a huge CD collection, and when the local CD store that I frequented went out of business, and the reason why they went out of business was because it was a chain of like 4 stores, and the owner was just like done with it all. So he closed the Springfield store, and I haven't bought a CD since. I don't go to Best Buy. I don't even think Best Buy sells CDs anymore. I buy records now, and I don't like go out and buy the newest, such and such band's record. I go out and I get stuff that I really want, just as a vintage kind of thing. So records don't take up you can put 30 records in the same stack that would take like 20 CDs, 10 CDs. Your pick, Chargers or Patriots? I haven't watched the Chargers play a whole lot this year, so I don't know. I'm not one of these stat guys. I don't watch religiously every Sunday. Every now and then I might catch a game on the satellite radio if I'm running, but I'm not the guy that will sit down for a full 4-hour game. So I haven't watched the Chargers. Now I'm hoping for the Chargers because I don't like the Patriots. Why do I not like the Patriots? Because they're just the team that you hate. And I've delivered at Foxborough Stadium a few times, and all but one of those guys were a-holes. I mean, as far as like security and the whole building and facility and the whole area. So, yeah. So I'd rather – and San Diego's kind of like – well, no, they're not San Diego anymore. They're Los Angeles. So I forgot Los Angeles is so big it needs 2 NFL teams. Oh, Benjamin says, good evening. Yeah, my plan was having money saved for January to March, and poof, back to pinching dollars. Yeah, Benjamin, last year at this time, I had a pretty good stash stacked up, and then my clutch went out. So, and my portion plate was due. Now, for those of you at carriers, you probably pay per week for your plates and permits. Well, when you got your own apportion plate, you pay that all at once. What bands do you like, if there's any still left? What new bands do I like? Karate Trucker, my favorite new band right now is Chemis. Khemmis. I will write that down. Khemmis. That is the band. That is the band that I cannot get enough of. They got 3 albums out. and they are a perfect mixture of doom and classic heavy metal with a little bit touch of death metal here and there. I love that band. I love their sound. I love their imagery. I love everything about them. So that's the band that I'm digging right now. I dropped XM radio, just make a playlist, plug in and done. Benjamin Duke, yeah, Spotify is my friend. I still have satellite. Every now and then I still like doing listen to football games or every now and then I'll turn on Kevin Rutherford. There's still the metal channels that I listen to. But yeah, definitely plug them into Spotify, Karate, and just they're awesome. Pale Rider, what's up? And then who's the other teams playing today? Karate Trucker. I'm sorry, but I forget. See, that's how out of it with the NFL I am. I like watching a good game. I don't care who's playing usually. I like the games that are down to the wire. Like the Chicago-Philadelphia game last week. That was a good game. The Chiefs kind of blew out who they played yesterday. The Cowboys game was interesting to watch because it just when they thought they could get it back, LA just slammed them down. And it was funny watching the Cowboy defense kind of get kind of screwed up with their offensive methods. So if you look at things from a strategic viewpoint, I enjoy those kind of games. It used to be the old days that Super Bowls were usually blowouts. It was never a close game. But here lately, the last 10 years, they've been close games. And that's the kind of game I enjoy. I don't even remember who won last year. So that's how emotionally invested in football I am. I don't get the whole team like buying all the merch and getting season tickets and like Razorback fans. You got people that go to work depressed when their team loses. It's just and they're not even they didn't even go there for college. You know what I mean? I've never subscribed to that. I've never been a part of that. Pale Rider says, Daniel says Pale Rider almost cried the other day because you don't call him anymore. I have Amazon Music, XM Radio, then I have InMotion, DirecTV, and Netflix to watch. There you go. But let's see when my friend texted me. $11:11. It's probably getting pretty close. Years ago, my wife bought me one of them 160 gig iPods, and it took me forever to get my music downloaded onto the computer and get that set up, And I still have that. I still enjoy that. And I like using it when I have no signal for my phone, but usually if I'm listening to music, I'm doing Spotify or YouTube. YouTube's got a lot of music that you can't find on Spotify. So like a lot of old metal albums that I listen to, you can find, you just put on YouTube, someone's uploaded the whole album with a picture, and then you just listen to that. But anyways, guys, write stuff down. Do your studies. Gear Grinder, what's up? Figure out strategies. Figure out how you're going to do stuff. There's more to being an owner-operator than just driving the truck. And I think that takes a lot of people by surprise. You're not worried, even if you're dispatched, there are things that you could be doing to better yourself to figure out, keep a journal of the loads that you do, which places were difficult to go in, which routing worked best for that load, that kind of thing. The other day, there was a load that I saw with one of the click and go apps, and I saw the amount, and so I went back to my notebook of my loads I've done over the year. I found that load and like, wow, they're offering $200 less for that load. So, and they wouldn't negotiate. They wouldn't come up on it. So a lot of times that stuff will come in handy too, because they keep those kind of notes. If you call a certain broker and say, hey, I'm looking at this load, I've done this before. They're like, well, we've been moving these for, X amount of dollars. And then you go, you personally have moved these for around there, and you can use that as leverage. Well, I'm always doing these. I give you good service. So can you at least give me what I've made before? Even if floor rates are down. So that gives you a little bit of leverage. The more knowledge you present to the brokers that you kind of know what you're doing, the more they're willing to like, you know what, I'll work with you. Because the ones that don't care about that stuff, those are the brokers you have to watch out for. Because if they just want the cheapest truck, guess what? You get what you pay for. And they're gonna lose their butt on it. They're gonna lose the contract because the load's late, or there are different reasons why the brokers. You got brokers that use cheap trucks, and you got brokers that want good service. And so you try to find those brokers. Morning, Small Fry. What's up? Dude, you have one of the best trucking content out there. I'm surprised you only have 3,000 subs. Thank you, Gear Grinder. I was talking about old school channels, and if you go to my original channel, I've only got like 340 subscribers on that one. But I went a long time without making content, so that's par for the course. But the style I've done on this channel has changed. I used to just talk about Landstar, and then of course, when I went to Steiner, I was talking about that, but then I started doing some trucking content, and then once I got a GoPro, then I started going back to my original style of combining music and driving footage and vlogging about my trips and stuff. And then so I've got 3 sides to my channel. One is where I do driving footage with music only, no talk. One is the combined talking head videos, with some driving footage and music footage, And then this, where I try to have a discussion, live discussion. And don't worry, if you watch this replay, I'm not going to put 20 freaking yellow things on the bottom of the bar, so you have to skip ads 20 times. So, but anyways, guys, thanks for watching. My friend is here, and I appreciate the compliment there, Gear Grinder. And guys, stay safe out there, and I will see you on the road. See ya.